All right, guys, we are gonna go ahead and get started here. It's good to see all of you. Again, I'm Quinn, health fitness specialist with Exos at Autodesk, based out of San Rafael. We're gonna be doing our abs and core here at 4 o'clock. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. Hope you guys are excited for a great session. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do, so we're going to start off with a little bit of stretching, active stretching and mobility work. So we're going to have our hamstring sweeps here. We're going to come with the toe out, pointed up. We're going to reach back towards our hips, reach down, sweeping all the way up and back down. Good. Alternating sides, just sweeping back and forth here. Let's get a few more each side. Really start to waken up the back side of the leg. Very good. All right, let's head down to our mat here. We're going to go into a cat-cow. So we're going to go hands and knees down, just bending and arching the back, sinking the belly button into the ground, and then sucking up into the spine as we move back and forth. Getting some nice mobility there, tucking the hips and shoulders underneath, and then dropping the belly button down as we move back and forth here. All right. Now we're gonna stick one leg out for our quad rocks, okay? So we're just gonna stick one leg out to the side, rock our hips back and forth. Really getting into the side of that inner thigh, into the groin. Good. Let's get a few more on this side. Good, nice and easy pace, rocking back and forth, and switch sides. Right out and rocking back. Starting to open up those hips. Stretching out that adductor right on the inside of that groin. Trying to keep that back nice and straight as we rock back and forth. Let's go last one. Okay, so now we're going to pop up. We're going to bring one foot forward and we're going to go into a forward lunge here. Hey Sue, how's it going? Just getting started here. We're doing our mobility and warm up. I just got a pin. Here we go. Awesome. All right, so we're going to get down into a lunge here with our left foot forward, and we're going to drive that knee out over the toe, stretching and opening up the front of the hip there as we rock back and forth, moving through that mobility. Good. Nice, even pace. Really just starting to loosen things up, stretch out, and get our muscles working here. Go ahead and switch sides. So bring that right foot forward, and we're gonna rock back and forth. Pushing our hips back through the foot and getting that knee out over the toe as you rock back and forth. Good. Okay, last one here of our warm-up are going to be our glute bridges. So we're going to flip over onto our back, feet flat on the floor, and we're going to drive the hips up into the ceiling through the feet, holding, squeezing at the top, creating a nice line from our shoulder through our knees, and coming down, tapping, and back up. Make sure you get those heels directly below the knees, and you create that nice line all the way from the shoulders through the knees. Back up, just giving a quick tap and driving those hips up into the air. Good. Let's go a few more here. Last one. And down. Good. All right, we're gonna start our first circuit here for our abs and core. The first one we've got is gonna be bike crunches, okay? So we're gonna bring our feet straight out in front of us, hands behind the head, and we're gonna twist our elbow up to our knee across our body, okay? So as I sit up, I'm bringing that knee up, and I'm trying to touch my elbow to my knee, giving a nice twist through our motion here. And we're gonna go for about 15 more seconds. Good, getting a nice working pace, twisting through the motion, and rest. Good. Next one we've got our seated T-twists. So we're going to be up in a nice tall seated position, feet out in front of us, flat on the floor, and bring your hands out to the side, and you're going to twist and bring that back hand down to the floor and twist back. Back and forth, getting that front hand up, out, extended, keeping that back straight, hips tucked in the whole time, working on that rotational core stability here. Controlling this movement, nice and easy, but at a good working pace. Good. A few more seconds. And rest. Good. Next up, we have our bird dog. So we're going to flip over onto our hands and knees, getting our hands directly below our shoulders. We're going to extend the right hand out, left leg back, alternating sides after a hold at the top. So holding here, extending that foot and hand out, and coming down, switching sides, not shifting our weight too much as we switch sides, but just keeping that nice and centered through our hands and our knees. Good. Giving a good hold and back down. Working on that stability from the opposite sides here. Let's go one more each side. And last one. Good. Next up, we've got our shoulder taps. So we're going to bring our hands out in front of us a little bit, getting our shoulders above our hands, popping the knees up as the feet come back, and we're switching back and forth, tapping our right hand to our left shoulder, left hand to right shoulder. Nice and in control, trying not to shift our weight too much side to side as we move through here. Moving our hands at a nice working pace, but controlling that stability all the same. A few more seconds. And rest. Good. Next one we've got is a push-up. So we're going to be down on our knees here because we're going to go about 4 seconds for our down phase here. So we really want to make sure we're in control the whole time, going nice and low and slow here. Okay, so we're gonna tuck the ribs down to the side, keeping that back straight, nice and slow down to the ground, and pressing up, back down, nice and slow. Again, you want about 1, 2, 3, 4 before you get down to the ground and push back. Nice and slow. Really spreading that weight out between both hands and all 10 fingers as you press away from the ground. Let's get a few more in here. Keeping that back flat, core engaged the whole time. Last one. Good. Okay, now we're finishing out the circuit with a 30-second plank. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get our forearms down to the ground, elbows underneath the shoulders, feet back as the knees come up. We're pushing our body away from the ground, tucking that belly button up towards the spine, and holding a nice flat pillar pose, keeping our bodies up and away, really engaging that core all the way through the hips, locking those knees out, keeping the spine flat. Got a few more seconds here. Good, almost there. And rest. Good. All right, so we're gonna go one more time through with our bike crunches. Okay, so we're gonna get flat on our back here with our feet out, hands behind the head, and we're gonna twist up and across, bringing that elbow to the opposite knee, keeping our chest up, trying not to round out the back too much. Nice, quick, even pace. Good. Keep going. Very good. Few more seconds. And rest. Good. Next up, we have those T twists. So we're going to get up into our seated position, hands out wide, and we're going to twist our hand down to the mat. Our other hand is going to come up high, holding that T position. We're twisting back and forth. Back and forth, keeping those hips tucked underneath the ribs, our spine nice and long. We're just twisting all the way around, getting that hand back behind us. And last one, rest. Good. Next up, we have our bird dogs. So we're flipping over onto our hands and knees. We're getting our hands directly below the shoulders, knees below our hips, and getting that spine nice and tucked up towards the ceiling as we extend out. We're going to hold up at the top and back down to switch, keeping our weight even. We're not shifting our hips side to side as we move through. Try not to keep that weight all the way on the back hip, but get it onto that front planted arm as well. Good. Let's get a few more here. One more each side. Good. And rest. Next up, we got our shoulder taps. So we're going to pop the feet and knees back and up, switching sides as we go through. Alternating right hand, left shoulder, left hand, right shoulder. Trying to keep those hips nice and square. We're not rocking back and forth, but staying nice and engaged in that plank position as we tap our shoulders back, forward, and through. And rest. Good. Next up, we have our push-ups, okay? So again, we're gonna go through that slow 4-second count, making sure we're getting a nice controlled movement as we go through here. So hands down on the ground, knees down. You can bring your feet up, bring your feet back and knees up if you'd like. But we're gonna go down and press down to the ground and up. Nice and controlled. Slow down to the ground, about a 4-second count as we press back up. Nice and easy. Find that working pace. We're starting to challenge yourself and really get that press through that slow count. Let's go one more. And rest. Good. Now we have our 30-second plank. We're going hands down on the ground, elbows down. Nice and flat here. We're going to pop the knees up. Keep the spine tucked, hips in a line with the shoulders, and pressing our body away through the forearms. Holding, nice and tight core, nice and engaged. Keeping those hips up, spine flat. Just a few more seconds here. Just focus on that breathing. It's the last little bit of our plank. And we're down. Good. All right. We're going to grab a quick water here. And then we're going to start our second circuit as we go through. So this one, we're going to start off with that rotational ab work again. We have our sit-up heel crunches or heel taps. So as we're going to sit up, we're going to sit up. As we sit up, we're going to bring our heel up and tap our hand to that heel. So moving back and forth, really getting all the way up as we bring that chest up off the ground. Working for about another 15 seconds here. Going nice and in control. We don't want to move too fast that we're losing control of the movement. And rest. Good. Next up, we have our leg lifts. So we're going to go single leg this time around. So we're going to get our hands right underneath our hips, get a little bit more leverage. And we're just going to go one leg at a time. So bring both feet up off the ground. We're going to bring one leg straight up and back down. Okay, so both feet sitting up off the ground, about 5 inches off the ground with the heels, and just kicking those legs straight up into the air and back down. Good. Getting a nice alternating pace. Trying not to shift the hips too much as we move through here, but keeping everything in a nice line. Good. Almost done. And rest. Good. All right, next up, we have our dead bugs. So we're going to bring our heels up off the ground from knees bent and hands on the knees here. Similar to those bird dogs, we're just alternating our left leg down, right leg back. Left leg down, right hand back, right leg down, left hand back. Switching sides at an even working pace. Not going so fast we lose control. Not going so slow that it's too easy for us to get good working. About 10 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Good. Next up, we have our mountain climbers. So we're going to flip over, our hands down on the ground. We're going to pop our feet back, knees up, and drive the knees up to the chest. Alternating left and right, getting a nice working pace, keeping that back flat, core engaged. Really trying to keep those hips up into the air as we drive the knees forward, one at a time. Let's go 10 more seconds. And rest. Good. Next up, we have our Supermans. So we're going to lay chest flat down on the ground, hands out in front. As we have our hands up, we're going to pop the hands and feet up, off the ground, pulling the shoulder blades back, down towards the hips, trying to curl our hands and our toes back to touch each other, getting them high up off the ground and down, back up, hands and feet up, pinching those shoulder blades together, and down, back up, staying nice and high off the ground, back down, up. Let's go 2 more here. Getting those hands high, last one. Feet curling back, hands back, hips down the shoulders down the hips, and relax. Good. Next up, we've got a side plank. 30 seconds each side. We're going to pop up onto our side here. You can get your feet out wide a little bit or stay down on the knees for a little bit more stability. So let's go ahead and pop our hips up and hold. Keeping a nice, solid core active here as we keep those hips off the ground, pressing our body away from the ground, keeping even weight over that elbow, through the shoulder, all the way through the hips and into the feet. Got one line working together here. All right, a few more seconds. And switch. Flipping over, holding that same position through the opposite side. Good. Keep those hips up off the ground, keeping that core tight and engaged. Everything nice and high, up towards the ceiling, and relax. Good. All right, we're gonna go one more time through with those heel tap crunches at the top. Okay, so laying flat on our backs. We're gonna sit up. As we sit up, we're gonna bring that heel up to our hand, alternating each side. Nice and in control, keeping that chest up towards the ceiling. Good, nice even working pace here. Not going too fast that it's out of control. Not going so slow that we're not getting the work. Good, few more seconds. And rest. Good. Next up, what do we got? We've got our leg lifts. So hands underneath the hips, feet out in front. We're going both heels up off the floor, alternating right leg up into the air, left leg, one at a time. If you notice you can't get your legs very high up during this, you might have to have some hamstring stretching. So you might have some tightness back there in your hamstrings, not allowing the hips to work through their full range of motion. I've definitely got a little bit of tightness back there. So we'll work on that as part of our cool down. We got about 10 more seconds. A few more. And relax. Good. Okay, next up we have our dead bugs. So staying down on our backs, we're gonna get those knees up, feet up, hands onto the knees, and alternating sides, extending out and back up. Good. Really starting to feel that through the lower abdominal muscles there as we keep those knees up. Back flat on the ground. And one more rest. Good. All right. Now we have, our mountain climbers. All right, flipping over. Hands down on the mat. We're gonna pop those feet back, knees up, and we're driving the knees up to the chest, keeping our hips up, spine nice and flat, working at a nice pace here. Nice, even working pace as we drive the knee through and up to the chest. Good, few more. And rest. We're back down to the ground. Got our hands out in front for our Supermans. So we're gonna pop the hands and feet up, hold, and down, up, holding, pinching those shoulders down to the hips, hands coming up to the ceilings, down, up, heels curling back towards the head, down and up. Let's go a few more. Down and up. And last one. And up. Good. Now we're going to go 30 seconds, side plank each side. Finish things out, get a little stretch in, call it a day. So forearm down. Gonna get those feet out and hips up. Engaging the side of the torso here, keeping one line all the way from the shoulders down to the heels. Nice and flat. Pressing the ground away from you with the elbow. Trying to keep that shoulder directly over the elbow. You can go ahead and switch sides. Holding nice and high, keeping those hips up off the ground. Weight directly through the shoulder, through the elbow. Keeping those hips up, getting that engagement all the way through the side of the torso. And down. Good. Nice job, guys. Okay, we're just going to get into a quick little cool down for the remainder of the time. First thing we're going to do is a seated hamstring reach. So feet out in front. You want to tuck your hips underneath your shoulders and then reach out towards the toes, grabbing the shins and pulling your body down towards you. If you can grab the ankles or grab your feet, that's great. Try and keep those feet together and knees flat on the floor as you pull your body into this stretch, really digging into those hamstrings and tendons behind the knee there, maybe into the calf a little bit too. Deep breaths in and exhale. All right. Next one we've got is just going to be a butterfly stretch. So bringing your feet together and heels in towards the hips, sitting back nice and tall, getting that chest up, shoulders over your hips, and pulling those heels into the ankles. You can use your elbows to kind of push the knees down out wide. Should be feeling this stretch into the hips. Deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. Okay, and come out of it. Good. All right. Well, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Make sure you tune in to my Wednesday boot camp at noon and our abs and core at 4 o'clock on Thursday, as well as our functional fitness Fridays, which are booming right now at noon. Go ahead and take a look at our class schedule on SharePoint. Let us know if you have any questions. Don't hesitate to ask. Thank you all for coming. Bye.